Alright, so welcome back to the lecture number 9. So let us start the day with small quotation today. What comes easy won't last. What lasts won't come easy. So you need to put little effort. So if you want to get something to be last long, so with you, so you have to work a lot. So that won't come easy, which lasts. So with this, so let us start a small problem some of the students have asked in the last assignment. There is small doubt in this. Let us see what is that. And here, so how to approach this problem? The current enters to a positive terminal of a device. So we have a device. So this is the approach. We have a device. The device might be element. It has two terminals. It has two terminals. Current enters to the positive terminal. That means polarity might be there across this device. That one side is positive, other side is negative. If you want more precisely, you can name the terminals as 1 and 2. One side positive, two side negative. It's your wish. I can even reverse that, no issue. But you have to observe that current enters to the positive terminal of the device. So where is the positive terminal? Here. So then current is entering to this device here towards the device. This is what the current I of t, which is given as 20 into e power minus 4t. I of t is given as 20 into e power minus 4t amperes. And the voltage across the device is given. The voltage across this device is given as V of t. How much is the voltage? V of t is equal to 3 into d I of t by dt. Means differentiation of current into 3 is what the voltage. Now what do we need? The amount of the charge delivered in coulombs to the device between t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 2 seconds. So with this, first let us have the relationship of the required quantity. What is the required quantity? Charge. So Q.
Q
Q is how much? So next, so
integral of
with this required quantity, just try to see what is given for us. Current is given, voltage is given. Out of that, so in which way we can relate the current with the charge or voltage with the charge? In that way, you think yourself, put your brain. Then we know previously that current is the rate of
V
change
is
of the
equal to
charge.
dq by dt.
But this doesn't help us in finding the charge. It helps us in finding the current. So what we do is that we different integrate both sides so that we will get Q as integral of I dt over time interval of t naught to t. Now it is readily available. So what do we need? Charge. For which interval? 0 to 2 seconds. So Q is equal to integral over 0 to 2 seconds. How much is the current? 20 into e power minus 4 t
Minus 40.
dt. So they evaluate this expression. So you'll get 20 into e power minus 4t is e power minus 4t by minus 4, right?
Minus 4.
Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no? Then then integration limits are over 0 to 2. Then how much you will get this? So 4 5 are 20. So this is minus 5 into e power minus 4 into 2. I am substituting this limits. So 8. So minus e power 0. So you simplify this, you will get some value. That is what the charge between these two terminals. So for this interval 0 to 2 seconds. Clear? Pradipti?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now let us move with our previous topic. So what we had seen in the last session is that so Kirchhoff laws, KVL and KCL. Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law. What is KVL? Algebraic sum of the voltages
is 0.
So let us say these are branches is equal to 0. Where these algebraic sum in a
A loop.
loop. This should be very clear for everyone. Always we should make the KVL around a loop. Okay. Whereas KCL, the algebraic sum of the currents, the algebraic sum of the currents at a particular node at a node at a node n. Whichever node we choose, we see that how many elements are connected for that node, how many branches are connected for that node. Then each branch current you add algebraically, so that you will get all sum should be equal to 0. This is what the so Kirchhoff's basic laws, Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. One more point is that the Kirchhoff's voltage law depends on the law of conservation of energy. It is derived based on the conservation of energy. That means energy is neither created nor destroyed. In that perspective, these laws are derived. What about Kirchhoff's current law? Law of conservation of charge. So these three are the important points. One is so algebraic sum of voltages in a loop is 0. These are the 2 points. Another is it depends on the law of conservation of energy. Algebraic sum of currents is 0. These are applicable at a node, and law of conservation of charge is the basic history behind derivation of this expression. Right. So now with these basics, so let us have the small circuits and let us analyze. So let me take small problem in this way. A resistance of 10 ohms and a voltage of 5 volts and a current of let us say some value. I will give you that. And here there is a voltage source, so of 10 volts, and here let me take 1 ampere, then yeah. So okay, or prior to this, just let me make simple this kind of arrangement. I'll give this diagram, simple this kind of arrangement with the resistor so of 5 ohms, the resistance of 5 ohms. This is a simple circuit. Now what I will make is that, so let us say so you can make many ways. So let me consider this as some voltage. How much is this? So 5, or just let me take in general V1. This I'll take as V2, V1 and V2. So these are the given things in generally. Now we would like to apply the KVL for this corresponding circuit. First we see how to apply the KVL. Later on we use how these KVLs are used to find certain parameters. Okay. So for which in the last session we discussed some of the things. What are they? That is number of branches. So let us see how many branches are there, number of nodes, and number of loops. These are very important. That is one thing. Next, identify the nature of the node. Thereby, identify what are the elements connected in series, what are the elements connected in parallel. Okay. So this is the primary task in before introducing the analysis part. Let us see how many branches are there. 10 volts, 10 ohms, 5 volts, 5 ohms. So how many branches are there totally?
4, sir.
4 branches. How many nodes are there? So let us identify. So see that This is a node. Is it a junction which connecting two elements?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so next, this is also a junction which connecting two elements. This is one more junction. This entire thing is one more junction.
Four nodes.
So totally four nodes are there. Let me write N1, N2, N3 and N4. Four nodes are there. So number of nodes are four. How many loops? Independent loops.
One.
Branches minus
One,
nodes
sir.
plus
One.
1. Check it. So 4 minus 4 plus 1. One loop, which is independent loop. Next. So what are the elements connected in series? This is the important task. What are the elements connected in series? For which, so I know that there are four nodes are there. N1. What kind of node is this? How many branches are connected at N1?
One branch.
Only two branches? At N1, only two branches are connected. What are they? 10 volts and 10 ohms. At N2, what are the branches connected?
10 ohms, 5 volts.
10 ohms, 5
So,
volts.
can I call this also simple node?
Yes, sir.
So, let me
Yes,
write
sir.
here 10 volts source, comma 10 ohms resistor. Next, N2 also simple node as because it is connecting only two elements 10 ohms, comma 5 volts. N3, what kind of node is this? Let us see that.
5 volts.
This is also a simple node as because only two elements are
Two elements are
connected. What about N4?
simple nodes.
Simple node. So how many elements connected? 5
5
ohms,
ohms, 10 volts.
10 volts. Now, one thing should be clear for everyone that so if there is any simple node between two elements, if there is any simple node between two elements, those two elements are said to be connected in
Series.
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 So then what are the elements connected by this N1? 10 volts and 10 ohms. Now can I say that these two are connected in series? Clear? So these are connected in series. What are they? 10 volts source and 10 ohms resistance is connected in series. Clear? So these are the conclusion points by looking at the node nature. So if N2 is a simple node which is connecting these two elements, so I can say those two elements are in series. What are they? 10 ohms and 5 volts.
5.
10 ohms and 5 volts are connected in series. Got my point? Similarly, is N3 simple node? Yes. So if it is yes, then the corresponding elements are connected in series. Next, N4. Is it a simple node? Yes. So if it is yes, then that corresponding elements are connected in series. So these are the conclusion points out of these node nature. Once we found some node is a simple node which is connecting two elements, those two elements are definitely in series. You no need to even look at this circuit. Just if somebody given that, so a simple node is existing which is connecting these two elements, you can say that these two elements are connected in series. So the identifying these points are very important. Many students will fail to identify this. So what usually they think is that if something is in sequential manner, like one, then like in the same line, if one more element is there, then they'll think that those are in series. But see here, 5 volts and 5 ohms, it is not in this shape. The shape is like L shape reversed image view of the L shape. Here you have 5 ohms, 5 volts, and here you have 5 ohms like that. But it is not the matter of this shape, how it is aligned or how it is placed. What it matters is that in between those elements, what is the type of the node? If it is a simple node, blindly say that those are connected in series. Now tell me, is there any parallel connected elements in this circuit? Is there any parallel connected? Can I say any two elements like, so 10 volts and 10 ohms, or 10 volts and 5 volts, or 10 volts and 5 ohms are connected in parallel?
No, sir.
No?
No,
So
sir.
why no? So can't you see this thing? See here, you have 10 ohms, 10 volts, and other side 5 ohms. Just check these things. Here you have 10 volts, and on the other side you have 5 ohms. See, these are just parallel line, right? So can't I say these are connected in parallel? Hmm? See, 10 volts source and 5 ohms, or just like this, like a parallel line, yes or no? Hmm? Tell me. All of you think in this direction.
No, sir.
No. Then what is exactly parallel then? So if elements are like side by side, we cannot say it is parallel. So there will be certain condition to be satisfied that those elements must have some same pair of nodes. I told you that child parent analogy. So if this element is the child and its parents are the nodes, let us say one side node is N1, other side node is N4. So whose child is this one? N1 and N4. Got my point? Next, if you take 5 ohms, whose parents is this 5 ohms is N4, one side, other side N3. Does these childs means 10 volts voltage source and 5 ohms resistance has same pair of nodes? One
No,
side
sir.
is the same, but
No,
other
sir.
side is not same. See here, these are not same, whereas these are same. So when a condition makes that both side must be same pair of nodes, so then we can call that as a parallel. But here, as because this N4 is equal to N4, no doubt in that. But other side condition is not satisfied. Here N1 parent is there, on the other side other parent is there, N3. So these are not same, different persons. So we cannot say these are in parallel. These are not in parallel. Got my point? So many students will take this kind of assumption that once elements are side by side, they'll consider as a parallel. So you should come out of that kind of convention in determining the parallel nature. Clear? Right. So now with this information, let us move on to the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So for which, so just try to see, always think that we should start somewhere. Where you start, it's your wish, but you should reach to the same position. So for which, just for your sake of understanding, somewhere, just let me put that some small guy who want to travel on this. He has two eyes, not one eye. Okay. So now, so what we do? We started here. We started here. Now, what happens is that as I start from here, what kind of voltage I am coming across every time the moment I reach to certain element. Let us say I reach to 10 ohm. At starting of 10 ohm, what is the polarity?
Positive.
Positive. So we write that whatever we come across the voltages, we try to put inside our bag. Let us say this guy has one bag. So we will try to put up all those things inside a bag. Next, the moment he reach over here, then what kind of polarity he is seeing? Don't say that this is negative. This negative is corresponding to 10 ohms.
Positive.
So whereas
Positive.
positive,
That
very good.
Positive
Then
side.
he further traveling and he reached over here. Then for this 5 ohm, what kind of voltage polarity he could see?
Positive, sir.
Positive side.
Then further, yes, fire. Then further he reached over here in traveling in this clockwise direction. Then what kind of voltage he is seeing?
Negative side.
Negative.
So now that is what the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Simply adding up all the things and putting in that person bag is what the voltage. So first branch voltage is V1 plus V1. Second branch is plus 5. This third branch, this one is plus V2. And next branch is minus 10 is equal to 0. So this is what KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now, one thing should be clear for everyone. How many branches are there in this loop? Only one loop is there. How many branches are there?
4.
4.
Four.
So, this person must have in his bag 4 branch voltages. That you should cross check every time. What happens is that sometimes people will forget, they will neglect one branch. So here one quantity, second quantity, third quantity, fourth quantity. So did I got 4 items in my bag or not? As because this person is roaming on these branches, in that process he is adding up all the things in his bag. So at last in his bag, how many items should be there? As many items as like branches. Got my point? So this should be clear for everyone. Don't do mistake in writing the Kirchhoff's voltage law at any point of time. So you try to understand in this way in a simple manner. So wherever I ask to write down the Kirchhoff's voltage law, you should write down very carefully. Clear? Right. So now I will introduce a small new thing here. Let me take this same diagram. Let me take this same diagram. Now, what I will do is that in this way, so this KVL equation is completed, previous KVL equation, but now I want to modify this circuit little bit. This is the final KVL equation. Don't think that, so I am extending that thing. Just I want to incorporate some more features. So for which what I will do is that I will assume some current is generated by this current voltage source. That current is, let us say some current I in general current. So how much is that value? I don't know, but as of now let us assume that some current is generated by this person, who is that 10 volts voltage source. Now how does this current will flow in the circuit? Can you check it? So this flow of current, you can imagine,
Positive.
you can just let me tell you, flow of current, you can imagine that this, let us assume that this person is going traveling. So then if he is traveling, then he need the road, he need the road. So as long as road is there, he can smoothly travel. Clear? So this road is what in our case the conductor. As long as conductors are there, these currents will try to pass through it. So at some places, like in between road, you may have stops, right? You may have some stop. Each stop is corresponding to, this stop is corresponding to branch. Like resistor, voltage source or something like that. So in this way you can imagine like the analogy that, see, this current is flowing through these things. How, which path does it take place? It will try to take place of this conductor. Conductor is equivalent to road. Then is there any two paths here? Only one path is there. It has to flow towards the right side, no other path. Then after reaching here, it could see a resistance. It will pass through the resistor also. Still it will go through this second stop. it crossed the second stop, then moving on this road, then moving the next stop, crossing the next stop, and moving on the road, and continuously then coming back to where it has started. This is the current path. Clear? This is the current path. Now, so once current is passing through some element, now let me take up this point. I have a resistance whose resistance is 10 ohm, and I know that for this 10 ohm, where current is entering, let us assume this is N1 side, this is N2 side. That means this is N1 side, this is N2 side. From which side current is entering to this 10 ohms? See here. From which side current is entering? From N1 side. So in this way. Clear? Now, so I know current passing through this element. I know its resistance. Can I find this corresponding branch voltage? If you have a resistor, current, can I say voltage is I into R? That is what 10I. 10I is the voltage. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
That means what I did. So see, observe that to write the KVL, what I need is that every branch voltage I need. But what happens is that depends on the nature of the elements. All elements may not be same nature. One may be resistor, one may be voltage source, one may be current source, like that. If it is voltage source, voltage is readily available to you. But if it is not a voltage source, voltage may not be readily available to you. So what you need to do is that just think in this way, this analogy. So one person reached this element, then once he reached over here, he is looking at this element. If this is a voltage source, he will take out that voltage and he will fill in his bag. And that is what that branch voltage. But now he is seeing this is a resistor. So no scope directly, how can I say this resistor voltage is so much? So what should I look for is that how can I get this branch voltage? As because he has not giving up readily the voltage across him. So we should look for how can I get this person voltage. If current is given, resistance is given, I can get this person voltage. So then I can count this 10I directly instead of in some other way. But to count that, I need voltage polarity, right? If polarity is not given, it is difficult for us. Why? Because we need to write plus minus like that. So what we need to do? How can I decide the polarity of this 10I voltage 10I? Now here it comes the power sign convention, that whatever I told you in the previous sessions. So what is the nature of this resistor? Tell me.
Opposite.
Nature of resistor is passive element. Yes or no? Nature of resistor is passive element. If it is a passive element, what should be the power sign? Power should be positive. If power is to be positive, then where current should enter? Where current should enter? Where I amperes should enter? We know I direction already. So where does it entering? At the N1 side. So at N1 side, what kind of polarity are you going to expect in order to get the power to be positive? Somebody should give the answer for this. right? Tell me, we said long time, if current enters at the positive terminal, if I enters at positive terminal, positive polarity of the voltage, then what is the nature of the power? Positive. If current enters at negative polarity, then nature of the power is
Negative.
negative. So simple. Now, little reverse engineering operation. Polarity we know, current direction we know. Can't we decide? Sorry, power sign convention we know. That is, power is positive. That means these things are known. Where current is entering is known. Whether power is positive or not is known. Then can't we predict where it should enter? That entering terminal, is it positive or negative? Tell me.
Positive, sir.
It should enter at the positive. For all passive elements, current should enter at the positive polarity. So blindly you should remember. If current is entering here, there it should have positive polarity, other side it should have negative. In the same way, for this 5 ohms, current is flowing in downward direction here, I amperes. Why? Because series connection, same current is passing. So wherever current entering, that side should be the positive, other side should be the negative. So can I say this as 5 into I? Now I can write the KVL for this thing. I can write the KVL for this circuit in this way also. So this is V1, but how much is V1? 10I. So I'll write 10I plus 10I. Next, second element voltage is 5 volts, so plus 5. This third element voltage is plus 5I. And this fourth element voltage is minus 10 is equal to 0. If V1, V2, everything is given directly, no issue. We would have written above kind of expression. This kind of expression. We will verify whether it is 0 or not. That is what the KVL. But if V1 is not given, instead of that only current, somebody said that it may have I ampere. So then based on that I can calculate this as 10I. And this is not given as of now. So based on the current I can calculate voltage across this as 5I. So now according to this KVL equation, this entire sum, that is 10I plus 5 plus 5I minus 10, should be 0. Now, is there any advantage of this KVL equation? Check it. Can I find this unknown current in this circuit? By this KVL equation, check it. So 10 plus 5 is 15I is equal to, so 5 minus 10 is minus 5. So if I brought right side, that becomes 5.
1 by 3.
So I is equal to 1 by 3 amperes. See how nicely we utilized the Kirchhoff's voltage law to find the current in this circuit. We assume some current is given I amperes. So by writing the KVL, we could able to find this current. Is this clear for everyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So in this way, we should utilize the Kirchhoff's voltage law to find some unknown parameters. That may be voltage, that may be current, many things. We see some more problems. So dealing these kind of things. Okay.